Route 1. Usually this is where you'll obtain your starter, maybe catch the regional bird, grind, and then just move along. And that makes sense. Most stuff found this early in the game are really weak and don't serve much use in the long run. I mean, Rattata, Caterpie, Weedle. But a thought came to me. How bad would beating Fire Red actually be if I only used my first 6 encounters? I mean, we're not going to have much type coverage, so I think it'll be pretty bad. Before we begin, I should define what counts as an encounter. An encounter is 1. Any gift Pokemon such as the starter, 2. Any wild Pokemon encountered, and 3. Any NPCs like the legendary birds, although that's not going to happen. Encountering wild Pokemon before being able to catch them doesn't count as an encounter because I literally can't catch it. Also, trading doesn't count as an encounter since you're just swapping an already existing encounter. And finally, duplicate wild Pokemon don't count so that I can actually have some variety on my team. So that's it. I'm going to be playing this with no items of battle and on set because what loser actually needs to switch while knowing what their opponent is going to send out next, right? Definitely not me. So when picking my starter, I already knew that Bulbasaur was out of the question since it's easily the most useless. I was originally considering picking Charmander since you can't find fire types until after Lavender Town, but I decided to go with Squirtle because it would be nearly impossible to beat the game due to needing Surf. The first water type I can get is Magikarp, and that's after beating Brock, so I'm probably not going to be getting that. Anyway, nothing eventful for the first few minutes of the game. I level up Squirtle while I can since I'll definitely be needing it to beat Brock. After I finally get Pokeballs, I start going through Route 1, which will inevitably lead to an encounter, and I get a Pidgey first try. That's pretty good. I catch it with ease and continue on to Viridian City. So I make it to Viridian City, and the only other encounter I got was another Pidgey, and that doesn't really count, so I head west to Route 22, which is where I'm going to be catching the next Pokemon, Mankey. By far the earliest fighting type that I can get, and probably the only one that I can actually reasonably get. It'll be really useful for coverage. Unfortunately, I find a Rattata first, so that kinda sucks, but I do get a second try, so not bad. So for Viridian Forest, I'm hoping for a Pikachu, which is easily the best thing that I can find since it's electric type. Unfortunately, I do get a Caterpie, which kinda sucks, but on the second encounter again, I get a Pikachu, so I'm really lucky. Okay, after fighting the trainers in the forest, it's time for Brock, and to nobody's surprise, we beat him first try. I mean, we one-shot Geodude with Bubble, and Onix is a two-shot. Even though this was easy, I think that I'm probably gonna have to train up the rest of my team eventually, so let's probably do that. After a bit, I'm at Rival 2, and I'm a little bit under level due to having a full team at this point of the game. Pidgeotto brings Pikachu to low health with some quick attacks, but we Thunder Shock and it does a little bit of damage, but we get a lucky static paralysis and we knock it out with just 1 HP. Next is Rattata, so I switch to Mankey, take it out with ease, and then out comes Abra who can't fight back, so now we're on to Bulbasaur. I switch to Butterfree and have a bit of a long fight due to me being stubborn and wanting to get some more experience, even though we got put to sleep twice. Either way, we won with basically no trouble. Misty time. I lead with Pikachu, who I leveled up a little bit more, and Thundershock does most of Staryu's health. It uses Harden, so we're at Starmie with full health. However, unfortunately, we get outsped and nails us with Water Pulse as we paralyze it. Thundershock's doing about a quarter, but we go down. I send Butterfree out to use Thief, which surprisingly does the same amount as Thundershock. It annoyingly spams to recover, and we go down. I use Wartortle to finish Starmie off with a bite, and we get the win. Surprisingly, Rival 3 actually posed a bit of a threat to us. Kadabra was able to take out 2 of our members on our team. Still, it wasn't too bad, although the fact that he was actually somewhat of a challenge, even with some grinding to catch up, is kind of concerning for the future. Even more surprisingly, Surge took 2 tries. Yeah, the gym leader who I often just mindlessly mash A on was actually pretty difficult, mainly because of Raichu constantly paralyzing us and then becoming unhittable with Double Team. We won by literal sheer luck with our dig hitting at the last turn. Fortunately for us, the road from Vermilion to Celadon offers a lot of experience points, which is going to be very helpful, especially since we're starting to see more evolved Pokemon. I'm getting a little bit worried though. My team has been falling a bit behind lately. I mean, we lost to Surge. Actually, it'll probably be okay. Once we evolve Mankey and Pikachu, we should be good to go. On a funny note, our Rattata is still level 6 after all of these battles. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do with it. Probably just for HMs. Anyway, right before Erica, we get Pikachu and Mankey to evolve. Oh yeah, and Rattata too. That's, cool, I guess? Erica was pretty easy. We got paralyzed by Victory Bell, which sucks, but our Pidgeotto hangs on all the way to Vileplume. I switched to Butterfree for some experience and to be super effective against her poison type, and we take it out. That gives us the TM for Giga Drain, which I obviously give to Butterfree. Now onto Giovanni, and he was exactly as easy as you expect. We have water and fighting types, and he has rock and normal types, so no trouble here. And Rival 4 was also easy. Wow, we're going on a little boss rush here. I'm really excited though that Pidgeotto and Wartortle are going to evolve soon. That should definitely help. Speaking of which, I do a lot of uneventful grinding on the way to Fuchsia and they evolve. I guess now it's time to take on Koga. And yeah, Koga was really easy. Butterfree just put the tougher Pokemon to sleep and we just knocked them all out using Psychic. Weezing held on for a bit since he kept healing, but we didn't lose a single member. I'm actually pretty shocked that this is going really well so far. I'm wondering how much longer our team can hold up. Anyway, fast forward to Rival 5 and we have a pretty easy fight. We use Thunderbolt to take down Pidgeot, then we one-shot Gyarados with Thunderbolt as well, and so does Growlithe. I take out Alakazam and Venusaur with Pidgeot, and I'm surprised we're not having too much trouble with the rival even though he has a mostly fully evolved team. Maybe Giovanni will be a challenge? Well, surprise surprise, he was actually a lot harder than I thought he would be. Well, he wasn't that hard. We take out Nidorino and Nidoqueen with Blastoise, but we do end up going down and we finish his team with Primeape. Not bad. I think our biggest problem going forward is going to be our lack of type coverage. I'm hoping that we can still make up for it with just brute force. Next is Sabrina, and I leveled up quite a bit after the Giovanni fight. Unfortunately, I don't have a direct counter to her psychic types since the only super effective thing we have is Bite and that's special. So we just have to brute force our way through. Fortunately, they all have low physical defense and for some reason Alakazam just spammed Future Sight, which didn't do anything, so we got a pretty easy victory. Anyway, Blaine went exactly how you thought it would. We just washed away his entire team with Surf and he couldn't really do any damage to us, so yeah. There we go. This is kind of the reason why I'm glad that we chose Blastoise, as it has an okay move pool and it is able to tank really well. And finally we have Giovanni fight number 3, and again he actually posed somewhat of a threat. We take out his first few Pokemon easily with Surf, although we do lose speed, so by the time we get to Nidoking we lose Blastoise, but it didn't matter too much though as we finish him off with Pidgeot. And with that, we have got all the gym badges. But we still have Rival 6 ahead. He leads with Pidgeot and we lead with Raichu. We take it out with ease with Thunderbolt and out comes Rhyhorn, so I switch to Primeape to finish it off. After comes out Alakazam and I switch to Pidgeot to take it out, and yet again he just spammed Future Sight. I don't know why he loves using that move so much, it's terrible in the game. Well, actually, it kind of came in handy as Raichu takes the Future Sight and loses to Growl. I finish it off with Primeape and out comes Gyarados, so I use Rock Slide. It's doing about a third, so I switch to Blastoise to take it out, and last is Venusaur who uses Growth and takes us out with a Razor Leaf easily. We send out Pidgeot and it also goes down. Then finally, we finish it off with Butterfree. Wow, that was actually kinda scary. So after some grinding in Victory Road, here is our final team. Now, some of you may notice that I've been leveling Raticate the entire run, even though I've literally never used it in battle. And there's a reason for that. You see, at level 40 I learned Super Feint, which is a really good move that halves the opponent's HP. Even though it probably won't be playing too big of a role, I think it can offer some good chip damage as support. Anyway, I think that this Elite 4 run is going to be pretty difficult, especially seeing how Rival 6 went. First is Lorelei. We sent out Raichu and it surprisingly didn't knock out Dewgong in one hit, even though I have it hold the magnet. Luckily, it just goes for Safeguard and we take it out. Cloyster annoyingly uses Protect to stall, but it has bad special defense, so we one-shot. Next is Lapras, and we go down to Hydro Pump, which kinda sucks, but we do finish it off with Primeape and she sends out Jinx. To my surprise, Rock Slide is not a one-shot even though it has base 35 physical defense, and she gets a lucky freeze with Ice Punch. I switched to Pidgeot in a panic and instantly regret it as she one-shots us with Ice Punch. Finally, I send out Blastoise and get some incredible luck to take her out. Wow, I was not expecting that to be so hard. Next is Bruno, and I also got a little scared. Onix is obviously a one-shot with Surf, but I switched to Pidgeot for Hitmonchan. We got a lucky miss and we take it out, although it used Rock Tomb to lower our speed. Machamp loses about half of its health to Fly before it takes us out with Cross Chop, and unfortunately Butterfree Psychic put it at literally 1 health and we go down. And finally, get ready to clap. Raticate makes its first useful appearance in battle. We missed Super Fang at first, but we do hit the second. It doesn't matter though, we got the Super Fang, its job is done. I take Machamp out with Blastoise and finish the rest of his team off with only 2 Pokemon remaining. Wow, I did not expect that battle to be so close. Now, Agatha was actually easier than the first 2 surprisingly, however, what's even more surprising is the role that Raticate played. You see, just before fighting the Elite Four, I got the TM for Shadow Ball from the game corner, and it was the only thing with decent physical attack that could actually learn the move. So it actually played an important role. It was able to take out her ghosts pretty easily, and even though we lost half of our team in the fight, it was definitely easier than the other 2. Last is Lance, and this took me a few tries because of some bad luck. Gyarados is an easy one-shot with Thunderbolt, but our problem is with his Dragonairs, which outspeed our Blastoise. And they don't go down in one hit to Ice Beam, so we have a bit of a problem. I switched to Butterfree to put it to sleep, but unfortunately it wakes up due to Shed Skin. We do take it out, but his secondary Dragonair is worrying me, so I send out Raticate to chip away, and I use Pidgeot's return to finish it off. Next is Aerodactyl, and I need a safe switch into Raichu, so I let Pidgeot go down and just hope that it doesn't get the Ancient Power boost, and it doesn't, so we take it out. His final Pokemon is Dragonite, and we get a lucky crit with Thunderbolt. I don't know if it mattered, but Dragonite outsped Blastoise, and we barely survived, so I'm still thankful for the crit. And finally, we have our rival, the champion. Raichu makes quick work of Pidgeot as I switch into Butterfree to nullify Rhydon's Earthquake. I put it to sleep, and surprisingly, Giga Drain doesn't knock it out in one hit. He heals, and a few more special attacks take it out. I try to put Arcanine to sleep, but it outspeeds us, and it one-shots us with Flamethrower. This isn't looking good. I try to Super Fang with Raticate, but it also gets outsped, and we get one shot again. At this point, I just switch to Blastoise and use Surf and just hope that we can tank its Flamethrowers, and he surprisingly switches into Venusaur. I use Ice Beam as I know that his only attacking move is Solar Beam, and then switch to Pidgeot to take the hit and finish it off. Alakazam yet again goes for the brilliant play of spamming Future Sight so it also goes down, and at this point I'm pretty sure that we've won. Gyarados goes down to 1 Thunderbolt, and we outspeed Arcanine and take it out with just 1 more Thunderbolt. And there we go, we beat Fire Red using our first 6 encounters only. I'm actually kind of surprised. It wasn't that bad for the most part. I mean, yeah, like, the very end game was definitely kind of difficult, and I was kind of scared at some points, but I would say, like, for 80% of the game, we didn't really have much trouble at all. I mean, like, we kind of breezed through the mid-game, and even during the later gyms, we weren't really having too many problems. There weren't really many fights where I had to try more than one time. And, I mean, I guess to be fair, I did kind of get the best possible team that early on, but I guess this just goes to show that you can win with anything in-game, even without items in battle. Again, thank you guys for watching, and if you have any suggestions for future challenges or any just video ideas, just comment them down below, and I make sure to read them all. So yeah, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys soon.